Welcome back, folks. So, good news. You decided on your firearm. You bought it. You went through the necessary legal steps to acquire it legally, whether you have to get a concealed carry permit and put it on your permit, and you brought it home. Now you've either shot it for the first time, or you want to take it out and shoot it for the first time, and you want to field strip it and clean it. Now, it's a good idea to know how to field strip it. It's a good idea to get your local gun shop where you buy the gun to explain to you how to field strip it, and you can also watch some videos on YouTube on how to properly field strip your gun. Another very important piece is the owner's manual. You can look up how to field strip the gun in the owner's manual. Every gun has to come with one, and every owner's manual is going to have a section that's going to tell you how to properly field strip. They're also going to have some very important safety and specific information for your firearm if you're going to be taking it apart, just how far you should take it apart without causing problems or damage to the firearm. So there's going to be a maintenance section, pistol disassembly, which is field stripping, and you're going to see some diagrams. Some are better than others. And I would actually recommend reading these little warnings because I have found out the hard way there are certain things you shouldn't mess with when you have the gun taken apart. Otherwise, springs might go flying across the room and you might never see them again, and you might have to go buy parts from your gun shop to get your firearm back in shape, ready to go. For instance, with this SIG 938, here's your safety right here. One thing that I did that I shouldn't have done, that it says right in the manual, if I had read the manual properly, I would have known, is when you have the gun disassembled, the slide removed from the frame, and you are cleaning it, one tendency is to flip down this safety to clean underneath it. I like to get in all the nooks and crannies when I'm cleaning the firearm, and, well, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to flip the safety down when the gun is disassembled, or else there's a little tiny plunger and a little tiny spring that's going to go flying across the room, might hit you in the face, and you'll probably never see it again. So that's one little tip for you. Each gun is different, but I would recommend reading the owner's manual. I know some of us men think we know what we're doing and we're better than all that, or maybe we know guns pretty well, but each manufacturer has a little bit different product, and it's good to read up and learn so you don't make the same mistakes that I've made. So here you have your gun field stripped. It's a good idea before you take it out and shoot it for the first time to clean it, get all the shipping grease off of it, and actually lube it up with a light coat of oil so that it functions properly. And one of the worst mistakes anyone could make is not have their gun cleaned and lubed, because when you need it in a dire situation and it's not cleaned and lubed, you might end up with a big problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about cleaning the gun and some of the products you're going to need, some of the specialty items, and then some household items. I will tell you right now, one of the coolest items for cleaning your gun, you can buy it right at your local grocery store, Q-tips. I use these to get into the nooks and crannies. They're pretty awesome, and they're pretty cheap. I go through a lot of them, and I also use a few specialty items. I use these Rem oil wipes. These are pre-moistened with Rem oil, which is a cleaner and lubricant. These are about $10 for a bottle of 60, and these come in pretty handy for wiping everything down. I also use Rem oil. Once again, I don't sell this stuff. This is just what I use. There's other stuff, other solvents you can use, other oils, CLP, such things like that. But I use this stuff. It works pretty well for me. It's all purpose. And then a few guns are going to come with maybe a rod and a brush. I believe this one came with my Ruger. Glocks usually come with a cleaning rod and a bore brush for that particular caliber. Other ones are not going to come with anything, and you can buy any sort of cleaning kit, all-encompassing cleaning kits for rifles, shotguns, and pistols, or just a pistol cleaning kit. This one is came with this big kit I bought here. Has a whole bunch of different calibers and a whole bunch of different options. This is an Otis cleaning kit. This is one of the items that came in at this short little wire for pulling through the bore. This is going to be for putting a patch in for cleaning the barrel, and you can also screw a bore brush onto that. So what you're going to do is that bore, that barrel, is going to get pretty fouled up. I put a couple hundred rounds through this gun at the range this week, and it's going to have some lead fouling in the rifling in the barrel, and it's going to have some dirty powder residue in there. You're going to want to get that cleaned up so it's nice and bright and shiny. You're going to have some powder residue in the slide. It can really gum things up. It's going to mix with that oil, and it can actually cause your firearm to malfunction if it's not properly cleaned. And you can also have some powder residue and fouling up in this action here in the frame. So what you want to do is what I do, different people do things differently, but this is what works for me, is I use a little bit of rem oil. I squirt it onto the end of a Q-tip, get that thing moist, and I run it through some of the grooves in the slide, and right away that thing's going to come out dirty. And this thing will probably continue to come out pretty dirty for a while. So I just keep running it, trying to get that junk out of there. Cool thing about a Q-tip, you can use the other end. You want to run that in the grooves. All these grooves are hard to get into. And once again, comes out pretty dirty. You basically want to keep doing that until these start to come out clean. Another thing you can do is you can grab a wipe, or you can cut up an old t-shirt, use a rag, put a little oil on it. You can actually get right in there and just wipe in general, anything that you can reach. And once again, right away it comes out dirty. And there's a little bit of brass in there, a little bit of lead, a little bit of powder residue. You want to get that thing nice and clean. You want to get all these holes and crevices. Believe me, there's a lot of them. If you're ever in the military, you know that whenever you had to turn that gun into the arms room, you had to have it checked by the armor, make sure it's clean. You probably rejected it 2 or 3 times before you actually learned how to do a good job cleaning your weapon. And even then, you might reject it again, make you go clean it some more. Good idea to wipe down the exterior, get any moisture off it, get a nice little coat of oil on it, get any dirt that might be on it. Do the same in the frame. I like to get right up in the magazine well. If you're practicing combat reloads and you're dropping those magazines on the ground, those can get dirty, muddy, moist, wet, and you want to keep that magazine well clean. You also want to wipe down your magazines. Put a nice little coat of oil on them, keep that crime and dirt off of them so they function properly. You can take your spring. Spring don't get too bad, too fouled up, but you can wipe them down. Make sure they don't get too nasty. Wipe down your rod. Some of these guide rods are metal, some of them are plastic. You want to wipe down your barrel. Get some of that nastiness out of there. Try to get some of the shine back to some of the shiny parts. And then you also want to clean that barrel. What I like to do, I like to run this is a copper brass bore brush. You want to run that through, push it in, pull it out. Now what this is doing is this is loosen up some of that lead fouling that's caught in the grooves of your rifling grooves there in the barrel. That's loosening some of it up. Next thing you want to do is you want to grab a patch. I like to run a oiled up patch in there. It's got some cleaner. One thing you could run through is Hoppy's solvent. That'll break down some of that lead and nastiness. I want to put this on your Little patch holder, run it through. And then push it through your bore. That's going to come out a little bit dirty the first time. Once you get some of that oil in there, it's going to start to work, start to break down some of that bad stuff. You can leave it sit for a little while, especially if you're using like the hoppy solvent. That's not too dirty. Then you always want to run a clean and dry patch through. That's coming out pretty clean. Then you can look down the barrel, look into the light, and see just how shiny it is. That's pretty much it. You want to actually put a little more effort into that than I did just now, especially if your gun's pretty dirty. Get into some of these hard to reach areas and get some of that nastiness out of there. You can use something like a little brush and get up in there. You can actually spray the lube right into the frame. Some of that solvent. Brushing those hard to reach areas. You can actually just use a toothbrush. This is a cleaning brush, but you can use a toothbrush as well. But that's pretty much it. You want to get in those areas and then put that gun back together. One thing you always want to do when you put the gun back together, put it together properly. And once again, it's important to read that owner's manual and make sure you know what you're doing. If you put it back together wrong, you can jam things up pretty bad. You also want to do a function check. You want to make sure that everything functions the way it's supposed to. Parts can break on these guns. I've broken parts on this gun. Don't know how it happens, but little metal pieces break and functions do not operate properly. So you want to ensure that the function of the gun does what it's supposed to do. This gun is clear. There's no round in the chamber. No magazine in the magazine well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to test the safety. So this has an external safety, which is also called the decocking lever. Safety's off, safety's on. So this trigger should not operate if I pull the trigger. So nothing happens. Pull the trigger, nothing happens. The hammer doesn't go back, and the gun does not function. That's the way it should be. Now if you take the safety off, what should happen is when you pull the trigger, the hammer should come back and then go forward again. The gun should go off if there's a round in the chamber. So I'm pulling the trigger. It works like it's supposed to work. Now I'm keeping that trigger pulled. If you've seen some of my other videos, I talked about trigger press, trigger reset. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle this firearm. And what should happen when I let go of the trigger is I should hear a metallic click. And if I'm going to fire again, there is no need to let go of the trigger or take my finger off of it or go forward anymore. I just pull back again, and that cycles the action. Now if you were actually firing this gun, what would happen is this slide would go back, go forward again, the hammer would be cocked ready to go. Find your trigger reset, click, fire again. So what we're doing right now is a basic functions check. We're making sure this gun fires, everything works, and all options. Make sure the decocking lever works properly, and it is good to go. Got your magazine's all cleaned up, everything fits properly. Now with an empty magazine in, what should automatically happen if you rack the slide to the rear? It should automatically lock open. So that works properly. So you actually have to use your magazine release to get that slide to go forward. So there you have it. Field stripping, cleaning, and functions check. This is on a Beretta 92F, also known as an M9. You can, I'm sure YouTube has videos on your specific gun, whatever you chose to buy. And you can also learn this from your local gun shop. Your experts there should be able to tell you, any gun that they sell, they should be able to tell you how to properly use it. So there you have it. Enjoy your new firearm, and take good care of it, and it will take good care of you.